Have you ever wondered about the invisible, high-speed dance that happens the second you click buy and a package just appears on your doorstep? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on that hidden magic that powers pretty much all of modern commerce. Let's get right into it.
I mean, really, stop and think about it for a second. How does that pizza get to you, still steaming hot, while 1,000 other pizzas are also making their way around town? Or how can a package travel clear across the country in less than a day? It feels like it should be magic, but it's actually something way cooler. It's a puzzle that gets solved brilliantly, every single day. And the sheer scale of this puzzle is, well, it's mind-boggling. We're not talking about just a few thousand items here and there. We're talking about millions, maybe even billions of individual products that all need to get from point A to point B every single day.
And of course, all that stuff isn't just sitting in one giant pile. No, it's scattered all over the globe in thousands and thousands of different factories, warehouses, and distribution centers.
So now try to connect all of those products in all of those locations. The number of possible routes, by truck, train, ship, plane, to get one thing from here to there, it's practically infinite. And if you choose the wrong path, well, that means delays, and that means higher costs for everyone.
So what you end up with is this gigantic, always changing global delivery puzzle. And it's a puzzle that absolutely has to be solved perfectly, day in and day out.
So how in the world does any company figure out the one single best way to move all this stuff around? There has to be some kind of system, right? A secret engine making it all run smoothly. And, well, there is. And that secret engine has a name: logistics optimization. It's this incredibly powerful method from a field called operations research, and it's basically what separates total chaos from the seamless delivery we all just expect now. So what is it really? Well, at its core, it's a structured way of finding the single most efficient plan to move things. And that's the key part. It doesn't just find a good way, it mathematically proves it has found the absolute best possible way, all while keeping costs as low as possible. And this quote really gets to the heart of it. It's a really delicate balancing act. On one hand, you have to meet every single customer's demand, no exceptions. But on the other hand, you have to do it for the lowest possible price. Nailing both of those at the same time is what makes this whole thing so incredibly powerful. Now, to really get how this works, we don't need a bunch of complicated math. We can actually just think of it like a game with a few simple pieces and a few simple rules. Let's break it down. All right, first up, you have your sources. Just think of these as your starting line: factories, warehouses, places like that. And the most important rule here is that each one has a hard limit on how much it can send out. You just can't ship what you don't have. Then, of course, you have your destinations. This is the finish line. It could be a big retail store or it could be your front porch. And their rule is basically the opposite. They have a very specific demand, and it has to be met. No excuses. And finally, you've got the routes that connect everything together. And here's where the real puzzle starts. Because every single one of these paths, by truck, train, whatever, it has its own unique price tag. So the shortest path isn't always the cheapest one. Sometimes a longer, more complicated route is actually the most cost-effective way to go. So here's the crucial part. This entire, ridiculously complex problem boils down to just 3 simple rules. 1. Don't ship more than your factories can make. 2. Make sure every single customer gets what they ordered. And 3, the big goal, find the one shipping plan that follows those first 2 rules for the absolute rock-bottom lowest cost. That's the whole game. But here's the thing. This way of thinking, this whole secret engine, it's not just for getting you your online shopping. Its logic is actually used to solve some of the world's most critical problems. I mean, think about it. This is the same logic that's used to get disaster relief supplies to an area as fast as humanly possible. It's used to allocate life-saving medical supplies to the clinics that need them the most. It even helps businesses assign the right workers to the right jobs. It's this fundamental tool for making our world run a whole lot more efficiently. Of course, the real world is almost never that neat and tidy. What happens when you have more stuff to ship than people who want it? Well, the model is smart enough to handle that. It basically creates a little fictional or dummy destination to send the extra supply to on paper, so the math all still works out perfectly. It takes a messy, real-world problem and turns it back into a clean puzzle it can solve. So when you put all of this together, what does it really mean for us? Well, it means we have this incredibly powerful, logical way to optimize systems that would otherwise be way too complex to handle. So how is the winning move in this game actually found? Well, this is where the computers come in. They use these powerful algorithms, a method called linear programming, to basically check every single valid combination of routes. And we're talking millions, sometimes billions of them, to find the one plan that follows all the rules for the lowest possible cost. And the results is pretty incredible. Out of all those nearly infinite possibilities, the computer finds the one, the single, provably best plan that gets everything where it needs to go for the lowest cost. Not a pretty good plan, the optimal one. And at the end of the day, that's the real takeaway here. This is about so much more than just saving a few bucks. It's about making the whole system more reliable, more responsive. It's about making sure the right things are in the right place at exactly the right time. And that makes the entire supply chain work better for every single one of us. So the next time a package shows up on time, just take a second to remember the invisible engine that made it all happen. And it kind of leaves you with this really fascinating question, right? In a world that's just full of complex problems and limited resources, what other huge puzzles could we solve if we just apply this same powerful logic?